Welcome to Annunciation Radio's Faith with Reasons, the program that examines what the church teaches and why. Faith with Reasons.
Well, welcome to it. Faith with Reasons on this September the 3rd as we come on the air live with you this afternoon. Show number 549. We're almost at 550, Shane.
It's counting.
And you've been here for quite a few of them. Of course, Deacon Joe Melanfont starting things off.
What is it, how many years now?
Well, 11.
Well, for me.
For you?
I know it's been 11 for the show. I mean, that's 550 is...
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, you're close to getting a patch, I think.
A merit badge.
Yeah,
I'll get my merit badge.
Exactly. How are you?
I'm peachy. You know, it's here we are again Wednesday. We're on the air. This is awesome. Brought someone with me today.
Yeah, I tell you what, St. Joan of Arc is well represented today because you are just a new employee there.
Yep. Got my boss in the hot seat, so for
right.
an hour.
You better be nice to me.
Yes, indeed. Boy, our friend Msgr Marv Borger is in studio with us.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming, Msgr.
You're welcome. Good afternoon.
Great to have
Beautiful
you on.
day.
Yeah. It's been a while since you've been here, and I know you're busy. You got a lot going on. That's a busy parish there.
It's busy. There are busier parishes. It's a very nice parish. A lot of friendly people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I do want to kind of delve into a little bit of parish life because it does vary from parish to parish and from rural to urban and so forth. But I want to tell our listeners a little bit more about you, Msgr.
Okay.
Of course, you became pastor of St. Joan of Arc on January 8th, 2021.
Mm-hmm.
You were ordained
in the middle of COVID.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
People had masks on.
1991, and you've served in the Diocese of Toledo, of course, various parish and diocesan assignments. Now, you're from St. Henry, Ohio. That's
Mercer County. That's not in the Diocese of Toledo. Mercer County is the northernmost county of the Archdiocese of Cincinnati, but it's a good 100 miles north of Cincinnati. It's the county, it borders Indiana. The county seat is Salina. There's a lake down there, Grand Lake St. Mary's.
Oh, yeah.
And it's the county below Van Wert County. So it's we would call it West Central Ohio. It's very much a farm area, very good farmland. And I grew up in a little town called St. Henry. It's a German Catholic area. Some people may be familiar, have heard of Maria Stein.
Oh, yeah.
The retreat center there in the Relic Chapel. So I'm from that area. That's where I grew up.
Wonderful. And they just had the seminarians there at the Maria Stein, I think, for a retreat, or the ones that are being ordained.
They may have done an ordination retreat there. Okay. Yeah, it's a very nice retreat center.
Msgr Borger holding degrees from St. Meinrad, Catholic University of America, and Ohio Northern, where he earned a degree in electrical engineering.
That's right. I shock people. That always works.
Very shocking.
I'm a licensed professional. Prior to entering seminary in 1985, you worked as an engineer for Marathon Oil
in Findlay. Oh,
yeah.
That's how I got up this neck of the woods, Northwest Ohio. I worked in Findlay.
We can thank Marathon Oil for bringing you here.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah. They were a fine company.
A veteran of the U.S. Navy, you served active duty as a chaplain,
right,
for a few years. So that had to have been exciting.
It's a very good experience. I'm very glad I had the opportunity to do that. There's a great need for Catholic chaplains in the military. The need is even greater now because the number of active duty Catholic chaplains has really gone down due to the shortage of priests. But I went in September 8th, 2002, after 9/11. I asked Bishop Hoffman if I could go, at least for 3 years active duty to help out, and he let me go. And it was a very good experience. I'm so glad I had the chance to do that. And I've always wanted to serve my country. And I've always loved the ocean. And let me see, my mom's 3 brothers all served in the Navy in World War II. And my oldest brother served in the Navy. And so I've always had this thought of one day I'd like to serve my country and do it in the Navy and see the ocean. Which I did.
I was going to say,
it is very true.
Join the Navy. Stick you on a base and leave you there.
Well, join the Navy, see the world, and so I got to see a lot of things.
Wonderful.
So I'm glad I had that opportunity. Yeah.
Great. Wow. Service in so many ways to us. You have a personal devotion to the Sacred Heart of Jesus, and you've led a number of pilgrimages. You've been to Europe and the Holy Land?
A number of times, yeah. I've been to Holy Land 4 times. I just love it, and I sure hope someday we can do it again. I mean, now it's a bit tricky, I think, given the situation there, but I cannot tell you how it impacts people to go to the Holy Land and to see Jerusalem, to see Galilee, to see the sights, and it makes the Bible, as they say, come alive. And it's a wonderful way to really help people spiritually, and they really begin to appreciate the Scriptures, and they hear the Scriptures read, at Mass, and they begin to say, well, I've been there, I know what that's like, or I know where that town is, or I know what the Sea of Galilee looks like, and I've been on it, and so, and the food's good too. So, nice buffets, but I sure hope we can go back sometime.
We have a group right now in Poland,
right?
For the 15th anniversary of Annunciation Radio, Catholic Faith Journeys pilgrimage, and we hear from them every morning. They come on the air.
Right. I know Maggie very well.
Yeah, Maggie calling in, and it's funny. We call her every morning, and we say hello to her, and then she hands the phone to somebody.
The mystery
so when
person.
we put her on the air, it's like, "Hi, Maggie," and she's, "Well, this isn't Maggie." This we hear from several people, which is great. You get different perspectives there. But I know exactly what you're saying. I can't wait to go on a pilgrimage myself to feel
now,
that.
We're planning one.
Yeah, you're going
next year. This time, it's going to be a joint pilgrimage with my close friend is Bishop David Talley he's a bishop of Memphis. Sometimes I call him the Bishop of Elvis, but and we did a joint pilgrimage of the Holy Land some years ago, and we're going to do one to the sites. It's Turkey and Greece, so it's like not only St. Paul, but in Turkey especially, it's some of the sites from the Book of Revelation and St. John and Patmos Island, and that's about a year from now. That's going to be quite a fascinating pilgrimage to see those sites. Turkey, Western Turkey, Istanbul, and then into Greece.
That sounds great.
Yeah, and I've never been to either place. So
my grandson Alan is a sophomore at the University of Memphis.
Yeah.
So if you would,
he's a tiger.
Talk to your buddy and put a good word in for him, would you?
All right. Well, he knows where to find the bishop. He's at the cathedral. Memphis Tigers. Yeah.
And Shane, you have a unique opportunity with your boss right here in the studio. You can ask him anything you want live on the air.
All sorts of
and
stuff.
We'll determine.
He could ask me if he could have tomorrow off.
Yeah, your future employment.
No, actually, I got a few meetings tomorrow. So yeah. Well, I'm always fascinated with how men are enlightened and at what age that they start thinking about the priesthood. So let's take it all the way back to the beginning.
Okay.
I mean, you had some influence in your life?
Sure. I mentioned, where I grew up. That's part of it.
Okay.
I grew up in a very German Catholic culture. Church is at the center of the town. It's a huge church. St. Henry Church is quite large. It's the center. It's the only church in town. Everybody's Catholic. That church was the center of life.
Mm-hmm.
And the center of life for our family. And it came very naturally. And so that was kind of the foundation, the heart of life in my hometown. Mm-hmm. And I went to the school is public. It's St. Henry High School, and it's public, but virtually all the kids were Catholic, just because it's just a very Catholic area in many parishes right around there. And originally, a lot of those parishes were staffed by missionaries of the Precious Blood, and that's kind of one of their home areas. In St. Charles and Cartagena is kind of their mother house in a way, and their community cemeteries there. And I grew up about 3 miles from there. So church was at the center of life, center of the town. I was an altar boy. I thought about being a priest all my life, actually.
Yeah, okay.
I did the usual play priest thing, at
Yeah.
home when I was a little boy. Had my own missal and all that. And use cranberry juice for wine, and those little candy nickels, they were called. Those were the hosts I used.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And did all that, but then you grow, and I played football and thought about things, and I thought about going to the Precious Blood High School Seminary, Brunerdale, which is way over in the eastern side of Ohio, in Canton, and went and visited it, but I wanted to play football and that. And Mom said, well, you don't have to figure this all out at once. Go to high school, go to college, and you'll know. Sooner or later, God will let you know.
Wise woman.
So that was my approach. High school, played baseball and football and all that stuff. I was good at math. Engineering runs in my family, electrical engineering. So I went to Ohio Northern, where my oldest brother was. The brother next to me, I should say. He was a senior the year I was a freshman, and studied engineering. That's what you did in my family, and I was good at math. So I enjoyed it. It's a nice school. Ohio Northern's a very nice college, and did well there, and eventually worked as an engineer for a while. Again, Mom saying, work for a while, you'll figure it out. And so I was a member of St. Michael's in Findlay while I worked at Marathon, and usually went to the downtown church.
Yeah.
If you're familiar with Findlay, you know where that is. Yeah. And it didn't go away. The sort of the sense of being attracted to the priesthood didn't go away. And you asked Shane about influence. Probably the biggest influence on me, besides my home area and upbringing, was Pope John Paul II. Now, there's a lot of priests like me, my age. He was just very inspirational and courageous and faith-filled. And he was elected Pope when I was in college, and that kind of reignited things. So even while I'm studying electrical engineering at Ohio Northern, I'm beginning to think more and more about priesthood, and so in due time, I talked to Father Frank Karras. He was the pastor of Findlay St. Michael back then, and this is in the 1980s, and started looking at seminaries with Father Mike Hohenbrink was the vocation director. He was quick on the draw, I have to say, to get me to take a look at some things. And I hesitated, but then one time somebody said, and I don't know who it was, it's one of these, like you think where maybe God's talking through somebody.
Yeah, sure.
Somebody somewhere said, sooner or later you got to go find out. And that was like, oh, yeah, I guess that's right. So I said, okay, I'll do it. And turned in my resignation and went off to seminary.
And this is not really an unusual thing. We've interviewed quite a few that have gone the secular path before actually entering seminary.
It's actually very common these days.
Yeah. And it's not really a bad thing because you learned a thing or two as an engineer. So
you learn how to pay taxes, be responsible to work and be responsible, pay taxes, and do your laundry and all that. Cook for yourself, perhaps, and all that, and kind of be responsible and be a responsible adult.
And I suppose it really helps. And we just confirmed this. I think it was with Father Kidd, a discussion that we had about vocations, and this was brought up again. It actually, I would see, really helps in the discernment process.
Especially when you're doing something and you may be pretty good at it, but if somehow there's still this longing in your heart that something's missing, that's a very powerful indicator, I think. I was a pretty good engineer. I mean, it was a good job.
Yeah.
Good pay.
Yeah.
Great potential for having a wonderful career, but somehow I was saying to myself, I don't think this is quite what I'm meant to do in life. And I wanted to do whatever I did in life. I wanted it somehow to be involved with what I thought life was all about. So you kind of like, I'm going to go all in.
Yeah.
And that's what led me to do this.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
And you essentially do when you have a career. You've already got a job and you're on that trajectory.
Yeah.
And you really make a very important choice. You're going to walk away from this to go what you're called to do.
Yeah. And of course you don't have it all figured out right away.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a risk, and let's go see, Let's go see and find out, as that voice said.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Very cool.
Monsignor Marv Borger is our guest here on Faith with Reasons. And of course, you've served as the vicar for priests, for clergy.
Vicar for clergy,
for the Diocese of Toledo. So I would imagine the path that you were on and your vocation had to help you out a lot in dealing with really the clergy in general. I mean, a lot of people come from different walks of life, and they can relate.
You mean in terms of priests having various backgrounds?
Yes,
and it can
yes.
really vary. There's a number of priests who have degrees, and their background would be everything from accounting. There are some priests in our diocese who have engineering degrees. Others are were teachers, for example. Others went right through seminary and maybe majored in history or philosophy, in the old kind of standard path that was often taken. So it's a variety of backgrounds.
And of course, that background that you have, you would think this is that's the field that I use that in, but that's all applicable to what you do in
Especially
a parish.
when the lights don't work.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, I recall at St. Joe's Maumee when they put an addition on. Father Keith Stripe, he had an engineering background, I believe.
I think more of accounting. But
okay.
Yeah.
But I know
Father Keith's very organized. He can produce all these great charts.
Maybe he did moonlighting at some point as an electrician.
He did.
and he worked for NCR for the cash register company.
Okay.
Okay.
But he knew enough about construction that when they said, this is an older building, and although you're supposed to have a certain thickness and everything, firewall, with the new addition, it can be grandfathered in. You don't really need it. And he said, you know what? Let's put it in. Don't you know we had a fire?
That's right.
He saved the whole building.
Yeah.
With that decision.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that background can really come in handy in a parish situation.
Right. But you're also going to depend on people, and your parishioners who are expert in some of those fields too. I forgot a lot, I'll have to tell you. I still remember Ohm's Law, right? E equals IR.
That was one of my favorite sitcoms from the 70s, Ohm's Law.
Ohm's Law. When was it passed?
But it's trying to remember calculus. That's another matter.
That's history.
Yeah, that's got to be history.
Yeah.
You and me both.
But you make a great point, because parishes are filled with so many great skill sets.
True.
And when you can tap into that, I mean, they come to serve as well.
Very much so.
In most cases.
Sure. Yeah. So you got folks on the pastoral council, your finance council, your school advisory council, special committees when you're going to take on maybe a special project of some kind. Yeah. People have their gifts, their talents, their education, their experiences. They want what's best for the parish. So together, we do it.
So you're entering the seminary. You've walked past, or you walked away from engineering. Do you have an idea at that point? This is the direction I want to go, or you just want to focus on just basic studies as a priest, because you've done quite a bit more than just be a priest. We'll get into this little JCL that you have after your name, your Msgr. People might not know what that is and how one arrives at that. So,
well, basically the goal was to be a diocesan priest. You're going to serve the diocese. You're basically going to be, you're preparing to be a parish priest. And when you're in the seminary, you're just trying to prepare well and get through it. No big plan in mind at all, other than I just want to be a good holy priest, the best I can with God's grace. So, and leave it at that. So, that's kind of what you got to. If you're studying to be a diocesan priest, it's about basically you're studying to be a parish priest and preparing for that. Sometimes there's special duties you're given or asked to do, but at heart you're a pastor.
You're starting out with that.
Yeah.
So you went on beyond that, and you obtained additional studies.
Yeah, I eventually Bishop Huffman said he needed somebody with to study canon law, and that's usually not the first choice for most priests to study canon law. But
that's
it's
probably why there's a need.
But it's part of church life. It's got an important role, and if you to have any kind of institutional kind of mission in mind, and how we gonna do this, and what are the sacraments, what makes the sacrament value. You got to ask these questions, have to be answered.
Sure.
On protecting of rights and spelling out duties and responsibilities of clergy and laity and all that. So it's got to happen. And there's even in the New Testament, in the Pauline epistles, the pastoral epistles, there's already clues that canon law is developing when St. Paul talks about what the qualifications are for a bishop.
Yeah.
For example, that's already the beginning of canon law, in a way. So it's important. It has to be done. And so he asked me to study, and that's what that JCL degree is. That's a licentiate in canon law. It's kind of like a master's,
Okay.
maybe a little more than a master's, which I got at Catholic University of American Washington. It's the only place in the United States where you can study canon law.
Oh.
It's because it's what they call a pontifical faculty that's chartered by the Holy See. And so that the licentiate means the license, that is, you have the license to teach that subject. So I did that I got the degree in 1999.
Okay.
Yeah. And again, that was a great experience. The program's very good, very user-friendly, very practical, pastoral at Catholic University, and a nice experience back then. I know you hear a lot about Washington, D.C. now, about crime and things. I think things have changed a bit when I was there. You could hop on the metro and be down on the mall in no time, and it was perfectly safe.
Yeah.
And the museums are beautiful. So it was a good experience. And Catholic University is right next to the great, beautiful shrine, Immaculate Conception, the National Basilica Shrine. And I helped out there as a priest, like for daily mass, and heard confessions, and that was a great experience too. A lot of good happens there. A lot of spiritual good happens at that shrine every day.
Now, you called for those studies. Obviously, the bishop would have in mind to give you some sort of an assignment. Like, you're gonna be picked on from time to time because the diocese needs to run itself properly.
Right.
So they're going to rely on folks like yourself to be involved at a certain
Yeah,
level.
the canon law degrees primary in the diocese is two areas. One is the tribunal.
Okay.
And I came back. I was assigned as associate pastor of St. Rose in Pearisburg, but also I was a judge on the tribunal.
Okay.
I had that was a part-time job. The other important canonical position is in the chancery of the diocese, to be chancellor. I did that under Bishop Blair for about a year and a half or so. So those are the two main areas that in a diocese canon law kind of is used.
And for those that don't know, the tribunal is to serve primarily or entirely the annulment process?
It's not the only use of the tribunal, but that's the main one.
That's the main one,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then as far as the chancery is concerned?
That would be normally the chancellor,
Chancellor.
just the administrative details of running a diocese.
Okay.
Dispensations, granting of faculties to priests and to the clergy, priests and deacons, for example.
And of course, the legal background is to make sure that this is done properly.
Yeah, it has things.
okay.
You want to make sure things are valid.
Yeah, valid.
If they're not, there's trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
So you've got a JCL next to your name, but you've also got another set of letters that denotes.
I do.
Well, I think you're the dean of a deanery.
Oh yeah. I'm the
that gives
dean.
you
I am the
a
current dean of the St. Catherine Drexel Deanery, which is we are in it at this moment, by the way.
Yes.
Because your studios here is in the parish boundaries of St. Joan of Arc, just barely. But on the other side of the street, on the other side of Airport Highway, is a different parish. But the dean is it's the technical name is Vicar for Rain, for not for snow or for rain. We need some rain right now, but it's a Latin word meaning out, kind of in the out there, and so the dean is kind of the priest who helps coordinate pastoral activity in the deanery. So the deanery is a geographical area. So the dean kind of calls the deanery meetings. It's very much about communicating from the diocese and to the diocese from the parishes, and help coordinate efforts in the deanery. So there's deanery meetings. There's about six deanery meetings a year, and they move in our deanery. It moves from parish to parish in the deanery. They host it, and whatever the agenda's prepared, and we deal with whatever is the topic at hand. The deans in our diocese also are automatic members of the presbyteral council, like the priest council that meets quarterly with the bishop. And the big job of the dean is at the end of what we call the activity year, the fiscal year, which would be like late June. The dean makes an annual visit to each parish in the deanery and to check all the sacramental books to make sure they're being prepared properly. Because that's very important. And so, again, in our deanery, there's no problems with this. They have the books ready for you when you come and laid out, and you make sure like they're up to date. They're recording their baptisms, they're recording their marriages, etc. And then the dean signs off on each book. So that's the annual dean's visit. So that's deans for you.
Well, and I appreciate that too, because I really didn't know when my baptismal date was. Mm-hmm. So I went and checked it, and because of good record keeping, now I know.
I'm just curious, where were you baptized?
I was actually baptized. I grew up through Rosary Cathedral, went to school there all 8 years, altar boy there, and I thought I had all my sacraments there. And they said, no, we don't see you here. So really? But I got married at the cathedral. Yeah. So they had my marriage documents.
File, yeah.
Yeah, so it says here that you were baptized at St. Hedwig.
Oh, good.
So, I found that out and know that in October I'll be able to celebrate my other birthday.
Nice.
But now we have, you're one of 15 deans.
I think they've reduced the number.
Did they consolidate some?
I think it's down to 12. Mm-hmm. That was just done like about a year ago.
Okay.
So there was some combining. Some of the deaneries didn't affect too much. Toledo itself is more in the out west and into the east. So I think we're down to 12, I think. Mm-hmm. It didn't affect the St. Catherine Drexel Deanery, my deanery, which would include like Maumee and Our Lady of Perpetual Help, St. Patrick Heather Downs, Bowling Green, Perrysburg. It didn't affect us at all. Mm-hmm. Our deanery remained as is. So
you've got at least 12 deaneries that really service 19 counties in our diocese.
Right, exactly.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And there's more or less just a coordination of activities.
Pastoral activity.
Okay. Yeah. And then when issues to come up again, they're going to go to you to take to the bishop at least once a year.
Or the other way.
Okay.
It's often at a presbyteral council meeting with the bishop. Mm-hmm. He would like to hear what the parish people have to say, the parish staffs, the people who attended their meetings. What do they think about this? Yeah. And he wants to hear. Okay. So the idea is the dean has an agenda item at the deanery meeting and then takes it back to the next presbyteral council meeting.
Very good.
Very common to do something like that.
You're a busy guy. Glad you could carve out an hour to join us here on Faith with Reasons. Monsignor Mar Borger in studio with us, Shane and Ron, and we're going to take a little bit of a break here on Faith with Reasons. We'll be right back. We promise.
Millions of Monicas is not a support group, but a prayer group for women to pray for their children who have left the practice of their Catholic faith. Join us the first and third Mondays at St. Patrick's in Bryan, the first and third Wednesdays at Christ the King Toledo or St. Thomas More Bowling Green, the second and fourth Wednesdays at Immaculate Conception, Port Clinton. For more information, go to millionsofmonicas.com.
This is Dale Ahlquist with a Chesterton Minute. How many times have you heard the complaint that church is boring, that we just do the same things over and over again? Well, the problem is not that church is boring, it's that we are bored. We are the problem. And not just with church, but with everything else. We have lost our childlike sense of wonder. G.K. Chesterton says the children have abounding vitality, and yet they want things repeated and unchanged. They always say, "Do it again," and the grown-up person does it until he's nearly dead. For grown-up people are not strong enough to exult in monotony, but perhaps God is strong enough to exult in monotony. It's possible that God says every morning, "Do it again" to the sun, and every evening, "Do it again" to the moon. Want more than a minute? Chesterton.org.
We invite you to join us each weekday at 3 p.m. here on Annunciation Radio for our Hour of Grace and Mercy. We begin first with the praying of the Divine Mercy Chaplet. Following that, we have Mass from Rosary Cathedral. This is an invitation to set some time apart in prayer and reflection with us, your friends here at Annunciation Radio, for this hour of grace and mercy. Share your prayer requests with us at chapletprayer@gmail.com.
Now, back to Faith with Reasons here on Annunciation Radio.
Hey, welcome back here. Shane Stanford with Ron Finn, and we are blessed to have my boss, Msgr Marv Borger, in studio with us. He became pastor of St. Joan of Arc Parish January 8, 2021, ordained in 1991. Msgr Borger has served in the Diocese Lido in various parish and diocese assignment. I can't speak this afternoon. Yeah. He's originally from St. Henry, Ohio, in Mercer County. Holds various degrees from St. Minard Seminary in Indiana, Catholic University of America, Washington, D.C., and Ohio Northern University, where he earned a degree in electrical engineering. Prior to entering the seminary in 1985, he worked as an engineer for Marathon Oil Company in Findlay, Ohio, and as a fellow engineer, right on track. So, yeah, kudos. So you have a personal devotion to the Sacred Heart of Jesus, led a number of pilgrimages to Europe and the Holy Land. And a very memorable pilgrimage was to France, included visits. We can talk about that if you'd like.
Someday I'd like to do a Joan of Arc pilgrimage. Maybe 2027. That would be great.
Yeah, and of course you're an avid sports fan.
Yep.
You've been. We were talking about the Mud Hens and the season dwindling down here soon.
Yeah, we're getting near the end for the season.
Our Guardians aren't doing so great right now.
No. No, they're hot and cold.
Yeah.
Boy, they got killed last night.
Yeah.
One thing that we didn't, I know we discussed during the break of getting into parish life. Obviously, we got a busy parish, but one thing I forgot is you're referred to as Monsignor, not Father. And many people may not understand the differences. They know bishops.
There's no huge difference. I am a priest, and it's perfectly fine to call me Father.
Yeah.
That's fine. I don't even notice. I really don't. And Monsignor's an honorary title.
And how does a priest earn this?
Well, he may not earn it.
Okay, you're tapped.
In our diocese, it came about when the diocese was celebrating its 100th anniversary. Bishop Blair wanted to kind of honor the presbyter of the diocese. He named 10 Monsignors, and now he doesn't really name them. He nominates them and sends it to the Vatican.
Sends it to Rome.
So it's kind of technically, it comes from the Vatican. The Monsignor is kind of an honorary member of the papal household, and that's where that title comes from.
Sounds very prestigious. So.
Well, it sounds good.
Yeah. Mysterious.
His criteria was he had 10, and 100 years. So he named 10. He nominated 10 priests. So this is like about the year 2010. I think when this all happened. He picked out certain priests who held diocesan positions or offices. He nominated them. I was I was the vicar general at the time, including being pastor of St. Rose.
Okay.
I had the title of vicar general. So for some of the priests who had served in the diocese and a diocesan role, he picked out 2 of the senior kind of very respected pastors. And then he chose a couple of the senior priests, retired, who were recognized as being really models and had a distinguished priestly career in a way. And that's how he came up with 10.
Very nice.
A couple of those guys, of course, the older guys are no longer with us. But,
okay.
Anyway, that's how it happened.
And it's more or less
it's an honorary title.
Something that comes out from the Vatican because this continues to a certain extent even today.
Pope Francis changed some of the rules. He made it a little bit harder. He wanted to kind of overcome any kind of careerism where and so he set an age. You had to at least be 65.
Okay.
Nowadays, the priest has to at least be 65 years old, I think. Pope Leo could change. He can do whatever he wants.
Sure.
He sets his own. He can set his own rules. So anyway, this happened back in 2010. So it's 15 years now.
Well, I'm excited about our new pope. So that's
Leo.
Yeah. But we do want to get into a discussion of you're certainly St. Joan of Arc is considered quite a busy parish. There's a lot that's going on. It's would you say not necessarily a large parish, but a good sized parish, and
It's
got
decent size. It's not as big as it was. Neighborhoods change. I kind of regard it as a medium sized parish.
Okay.
It's a very nice parish. People are very friendly, welcoming.
Yeah.
The church space is beautiful, and was recently redone under Father Hertzfeld some years ago.
And
we have a school.
School
is a very
yes.
fine. St. John of Arc is a very fine school.
Yes.
It has a very good reputation, and enrollment is going up these days.
I was just going to say it's growing. So
it's up to 387, I think.
That's
now.
awesome.
Yeah.
And so we got a good school. There's that old saying that we're big enough to serve you, small enough to know you.
Yes.
You ever heard that before?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's my
yeah.
hometown bank's motto.
Yeah.
Anyway,
They won't mind you borrowing.
no, St. Henry Bank. But it's like that at Joan of Arc. We're not huge, but we're big enough to offer, something. There's a lot of ministry going on there.
Yeah.
And one of the new things is the ACTS program that we've started last year, with the help of some of our neighboring parishes who have been in the ACTS program, and so we have a men's ACTS retreat coming up in October next month, and so now's the time for guys to sign up, and it can really make a good major impact spiritually on them and to kind of reignite things for them. So that's one of the things that we're doing. That's new at the parish, and we have the Family of Faith catechesis. It's everybody agrees now, for catechesis for children, especially if they're not in the parish school, you got to get the parents involved.
Yeah.
And so that's Family of Faith. So it's not parents dropping their kids off. It's parents being involved. Actually because they're the first teachers of their children in all things, including faith. So we use Family of Faith program, and so the parents have to kind of get engaged and help pass the faith on, and they learn something too by doing that. We're just gearing up, and Shane, this is your area, the Becoming Catholic program, or the OCIA now, Order of Christian Initiation for Adults. This is the time of the year when that kind of starts up again, and it can be custom fit, as we've talked, depending if somebody is baptized or not. And good. We invite people who may be interested in becoming Catholic, or often it's a spouse. Maybe been coming to Mass actually for a long time, and why not? And so it's serious. There's a big commitment. To joining the church, but it brings great blessings, right? And it's really, again, becomes the foundation to your life, what life is about. So all those things going on.
And this commitment, and I'm glad that you brought it up, is, it should be discussed. Obviously, we shouldn't look at it as a requirement, but a privilege to have a weekly Mass attendance. We want our parishioners involved in the community, and that's one way to do it. And it's awfully important, particularly with parents that have, in a couple of cases we've previously talked about, where you have children that are becoming very inspired by what they see around them, and they may be in a home where they have one parent that's Catholic, or maybe no parents are Catholic. And I'm noticing in both cases where it's inspirational for the other parent to want to become Catholic.
Yeah, sometimes the Catholic school becomes an instrument of evangelization.
It is.
They say the children, of course, they're coming to Mass every week.
Yes.
They're not receiving communion necessarily, of course, if they're not Catholic, obviously, but they get very used to Catholic stuff and want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And then they go home, and then it's up to the parents in a way. But for a child to become Catholic, there has to be that support at home. Somebody has to, basically, as we would say, raise the child in the faith. So that has to be there.
That's why it's great.
Sometimes it starts. Sometimes the child is the one who plants the seed.
Absolutely.
In the adult.
That's what I love about that faith and family thing that you do, where you involve. I mean, it's not just, like you say, dropping the kids off. They're involved as well. Yeah,
they have to be, and they should be. That's in our culture. That's how it has to work. The old days where kind of the culture did some of the catechesis for you.
It doesn't happen today.
That's long gone.
Yeah. Where in the culture that you grew up in, you've got a small town, and
that was sort of
everybody's-
like that. Yeah,
most people are Catholic, and the town grows up around their. That's a long gone.
Yeah,
it doesn't happen that way anymore.
Right.
Yeah. So we're bringing kids in that want to become Catholic. And again, we have one parent that may not be Catholic that's inspired to become Catholic. You may have a parent that in these single parent households that aren't Catholic at all. They're inspired to become Catholic. But the rule is obviously that that it has to be a Catholic household, and the reason being is that the kid needs to be supported in their faith.
Right.
And we have to have parents that want to go.
Even if it's an infant.
Yeah.
There has to be, as canon law would say, there has to be the well-founded hope that the child will be raised in the faith. I mean, again, if we're talking about baptizing of an infant, there are promises are made in the ceremony, usually by parents and the godparents, that they will pass the faith on to the child. They make that publicly. That's
and
a
sadly,
public promise.
Sadly, promises that are forgotten.
Sometimes,
unfortunately,
sadly is. They have to be very intentional about it these days. They have to kind of work at, like, I need to do this.
So we have just a quick discussion then about the school. From what I recall, 385, 87 kids that are registered now. By my calculations, we're a little over a quarter of them are in households that are non-Catholic. So we've got Baptists that are attending, we've got Lutherans that are attending, we've got
it's about Joan of Arc's about 3/4 Catholic,
and we're seeing a rise because of school choice that's benefited the school. Ed choice. So that's something that the school is benefiting, but it's not just the school, but it's the kids as well. So they're going to school with Catholic kids, and they're being inspired in many ways to change.
I visit each week. I visit a grade. This week it was 7th grade. Last week was, we're counting down. I started, school just started not that long ago. So last week I was with the 8th graders. I was with 7th graders this week. Next week it will be 6th grade. And at our school, we also start, they're given a chance to go to confession, the Catholic kids. Again, it's the same thing. Last week, 8th grade got to go. This week it was 7th grade. Next week will be 6th grade, at least one section. Sometimes there's more than one section in the grade. So I visit the kids. Each week I'm in some of the classrooms. And of course, we have weekly mass. We had that this morning.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And that might be in some cases because there are a certain number of families that they're only going to school there, but they may not necessarily be attending mass or be parishioners there.
That's true. Some of our kids even are Catholic, but may not belong to our parish. They sometimes belong to another parish. That's okay.
Yeah,
we can handle that.
Yeah. But in the event that we even have people that are registered, they're parishioners at the school, sometimes the only influence that the kids may have is the school. We wish it would be different.
One of our goals is always to get families more active on Sundays.
Yes. Yeah.
We know the great challenge these days is how sports can tend to become the what tends to dominate the schedule. Unfortunately, I like sports, but shouldn't be the foundation. Of family life, right?
So, what we've discussed already about encouraging the families we need the families to be on the parish side of the property, involved in the parish life. But that's how we're bringing the educational role into I guess with the domestic church. Getting the parents involved in the faith related education of their other kids. From a home perspective,
I often say to parents when we have, like, for example, our sacramental preparation meeting with the parents.
Yes.
Let's say we're talking to the parents of the second graders who make first communion. We're only really building on the foundation they put in place at home. That's the key.
Yeah.
If that foundation's not there, most of our efforts will not be fruitful.
Right.
So we're building on their foundation. So again, it's a reminder to them they're the first teachers. It's a great responsibility. It's a great opportunity. We all have. I often tell stories from my own life. When I think back, I still remember my mother teaching me my first prayer.
Wonderful. Yeah, we just talked about that today.
I just talked about that somewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, how
lunch.
the Angel of God prayer was the first prayer I learned. My mother made the point of teaching it
beautiful.
to me. Yeah, they changed the wording a bit since I learned it.
Yeah, I've heard about 3 different versions.
I still remember that.
Yeah.
And I was flattered that my mother took the time to spend with me
Yeah.
to teach me a prayer. Mm-hmm. And I still remember.
It starts at home.
It starts at home. I still remember, I've used this in a homily because it shows the influence and the opportunity a parent has to pass the faith on if they're intentional about it.
Yeah.
I still remember one of my earliest memories of my life was, it was a beautiful summer evening. I'm probably, 4 years old, 5, how far you go back? I don't know. 4 or 5.
It's probably about that time. Yeah.
We had a nice swing in the backyard, and I was sitting next to my mother in the swing. Beautiful summer evening. I remember looking up, seeing the birds in the sky and that. And for some reason, my mother said, God is everywhere.
Oh.
And you never have to be afraid. He's always with you. And I'm like to a 4-year-old, like, wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's what I remember. I started looking up at the sky going, wow, I didn't know that.
But that sticks with you.
That stuck with me all these years.
Yeah.
And she told me that. And that's the power of a parent sharing the faith with their kids,
That's exactly
making
it.
a lifelong impact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A parent that has a faith life,
Right.
Yeah, that's willing to share,
Yeah.
and so the challenge then is for you to be a pastor of such a really a very busy school integrated parish. The challenge is then to try to merge these two together. You've got to go across the other side of the property and get parents that
not
may
every
not be practicing.
parish is like that with
Right.
the school. Sometimes the school is
Right.
connected to the church building.
Yeah.
But Joan of Arc is
Yeah.
we got this huge parking lot, which is nice. It's
Yeah.
good to have a big parking lot. But the school's on the other side, so it's a bit of a walk.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it can be symbolic of something, that we're two separate institutions. So we always need to remind people the school is our largest parish ministry. Mm-hmm. It's made possible by the generosity of our parishioners who support it, who believe in Catholic education, when benefactors, and so it's about, again, ultimately a Catholic school is about kind of the idea of the Catholic faith is about the whole person, helping form and shape person's mind, which is from the Lord, their soul from the Lord, and all their talents and all that, all kind of a holistic educational process. We have a little tagline at Joan of Arc that in partnership with the parents, we're seeking to form saints, servants, and scholars in that order, saints being first.
Great.
Saints, servants, and scholars. That's what we're trying to do. But it's always in partnership with the parents. They got to lay the foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because without them, it goes nowhere.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Makes a
thankfully,
huge difference, and
I
you can even tell the difference in the kids.
Yeah.
and you're helping parents to do that. I mean, it's not like it's just we're leaving it up to you. There are
We're
opportunities.
building and
Yeah.
we're helping them. Yeah. And so and you can tell the difference if that foundation's there.
So this they have that resource, this family formation, really, because it's not just the parents. We're focusing on the kids on the parish side. That they're getting more of a structure. Because there is a certain amount of religious ed at the school, but the biggest part is working with this as a family, coming from the parents, helping the parents foster this faith life. Hopefully the parents getting kids involved on the parish side of things as they grow. There's youth formation that we offer as well.
Right.
To a certain extent.
The school does a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's providing education, but throughout the day there's prayer. There's a Catholic culture. It's sort of a Catholic community there, and Catholic values, and of course Catholic. There's kind of a discipline about a Catholic school and care, and the teachers are doing it in part because it's their vocation, that they find it fulfilling. They're not. Let's face it. They could make more money in a public school.
Oh yeah.
But they're dedicated to Catholic education and about what we're about. So
And that culture that you talk about, the Catholic culture that we build in the school, is so important and so key. some parishes don't have a school. Some are fortunate enough to have a school. I know when you were at St. Rose, you had a school there.
Yeah, very good school. St. Rose is a very good school.
And St. Wendelin, did they have a school there?
They even had a high school
Yeah,
back
that's
then.
right.
Now,
They had a grade school and a high school.
unfortunately, that was my first assignment at Fostoria, but unfortunately, Fostoria has not grown. It's basically
Right.
shrunk a bit, lost some industry, and population has gone down. Parish has, in a way, decreased in size, and so they no longer have a school. It's sad.
Yeah.
The St. Wendelin Mohawks are gone in a way, so that was very hard for them.
And that was
But
the entire school.
You got to have kids. You got the entire
Yeah,
school,
that's right, yeah.
including high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you have a population
I have many happy
shift.
memories from Fostoria, by the way. You
I'll
know,
bet.
being there.
and just, again, that was K through 12.
K through 12.
Wow.
St. Wendelin.
Yeah.
You know, there was a baby boom. You know,
Yeah. Sure.
honestly, in the 50s and 60s, 70s. I mean, it was booming.
Yeah, the
They had
schools
some pretty good
you know,
football teams.
3-4 classrooms per grade and so
Yeah,
forth.
yeah.
There were a lot of kids in my class at Rozier Cathedral,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure. Monsignor Mark Borger is here. We're talking about parish life. I want to make sure that we get to some of the events that are taking place at St. Joan of Arc. And, of course, it's important to point out that every parish has a lot going on, and they
Right.
offer a lot as well. So some of them may take a cue from another one about certain things that they can offer. And one of those things is to foster vocations.
Right.
The
right.
traveling chalice.
Well, that's brand new. That's a new initiative from the bishop, Bishop Thomas, and the vocations office. There's and he wrote in his letter, "Leading the Flock." He talked about it to help promote, especially priestly vocations. That's where the great need is. So there's two quite beautiful chalices that have been prepared. I think courtesy of the Knights of Columbus of the diocese. They're in a beautiful, I mean, it's just well done, in a glass case. They were going to travel from parish to parish 1 month at a time. And there's one chalice for the northern part of the diocese, one chalice for the southern part. So it's each month it will go to another parish. And it just so happens, I think because I quickly signed up, I think, when they announced this. I said, well, hey, we can do that. We're the first parish in the northern part of the diocese to host the chalice. It's just started for September. We actually started early.
A little bit early.
We got it in late August, so we said, look, we're not going to wait. Let's go. And so we have the chalice. It's quite beautiful, and we have it up in front of the altar. It becomes a topic of homilies, for example, or with the kids today. Like, what is this? Why is this important? This is a reminder that we need to pray for vocations, right? And very simply, at the end of the Mass, we pray a Hail Mary for vocations of the priesthood in our diocese. We have adoration of Blessed Sacrament every Friday in our chapel, so we move the chalice into the chapel. So all the people come for adoration, see it, and are reminded to pray for vocations during adoration. So that's kind of what we're doing. It's very well done, I have to say. It's beautiful. It comes in a beautiful case. And at the end of September, we will transfer it to the next parish. I believe it's Immaculate Conception in Toledo is the parish after us.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And it gives you an opportunity to recall before that prayer at the end of Mass, again,
Right.
focusing people's attention if they did notice it sitting up
Right,
there, that the
right.
chalice is there. And,
Yeah, I
why-
simply say, the vocations chalice here reminds us that we must pray for priestly vocations in our diocese. Please join me in praying a Hail Mary. So we're putting in, it gets it in people's, gets it before them in their minds. And it kind of is a reminder. Bishop Thomas, a couple of years ago, asked us all to pray one Hail Mary every day for vocations.
Yeah.
And I said, if you pray a rosary every day, you got it covered, But,
Yeah.
but it's a reminder to people. It's well done. And so good. There's some good things happening. And you mentioned you had Father Kidd here lately.
Yes, yeah.
He's a go-getter.
Well,
And that's great.
when they're doing a
Yeah.
70-plus mile walk for vocations,
Yeah.
and they've got a few priests involved in that, a lot
Yeah.
of people going from
Right.
one point to another. Yeah, it draws attention, just like this traveling chalice does. It reminds us all to pray for vocations and the importance of priestly vocations.
Right.
Now, you've got all kinds of things for families and so forth. I always look forward to the St. Joan of Arc fish fries. I know a lot of people are coming to the food pantry.
Yes, the Thursday food pantry. is amazing in a way. Starts at 3:30 to 5:15. The number of, it's drive-through basically. Well over 250 vehicles.
And you've had as many as 350 come
I
through
think so,
there.
yeah. These are all volunteers from the parish. Even some non-parishioners volunteer for the food pantry. Made possible by contributions and the local food banks also. And they got a system worked out about how to do this. They start preparing early Thursday afternoon to get ready. And so that's under kind of the sponsorship of St. Vincent de Paul. And we have a very active St. Vincent de Paul Society, helping out neighbors in need. And again, as you may know, St. Vincent de Paul takes a very personal approach. They they sit down with people. Let's talk about your budget. What are your needs? How are you spending your money? How can we help you to do better with this? So it's personal.
Yeah, neighbors first.
Yeah.
And I've been involved with that recently. I've been in that interview process, and it's quite a touching thing to be able to sit down and be able to help people that are in great need.
Treating people as people.
Absolutely, yeah. And everybody has their own circumstances, and a lot of them don't take that very easily. They end up in tears. Discussing their. You can tell it hurts, and they are people, and they need to be treated very. Very respectfully in those situations, because it's never their fault. I mean, I can trust me when I say that people are in awful circumstances, and it's a blessing to be able to help them.
Wow!
Oh, here comes
that in already.
Are we done?
You talk a lot.
Yeah, if I just hit that pause button, we can just.
It's that time.
Oh, wow. It's nice to be with you.
It's great to hear so many wonderful things. I mean, obviously reaching out to your neighbors and your parish community. Yeah. But you're also serving the parishioners themselves, and they're also reciprocating by kind of helping out the parish. It's just a wonderful, synchronicity.
Well, that's what a Catholic parish is about.
Right.
It's kind of to be a...
Monsignor Marv Borger, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a fascinating conversation.
Thank you.
It was nice to be with you. Thanks for inviting me.
So please join us again next week. We'll be back for another edition of Faith with Reasons. And who knows what we're going to end up with next week.
You never know.
Thanks, Monsignor.
You're welcome. Thanks.